Well, I've been doing this for more than a decade. I started out with made for AdSense sites, which were just content specific sites, so not really affiliate marketing. I started actually in the personal finance niche, but for the bulk of that decade plus, I've been doing affiliate sites primarily with Amazon. However, in recent years, I've kind of gotten away from that. And so I've been focusing on the build and flip model for sites. So just churning them out as fast as I can and flipping them on Empire Flippers for cash.
Very cool. And to this point, how many sites have you sold, if you recall off the top of your head?
That's a good question. I don't have an exact number. I would say somewhere between 30 to 40. I spent 1 year and I sold like 15, so it's pretty consistent. I haven't sold any actually in the last year because now I'm trying to focusing on holding a little longer. So,
All
but
right.
normally I flip it around $1,500 a month.
Okay. And what kind of return do you see on those, both from the top line revenue of what you make selling the site, and then of course the ROI after all your expenses and that sort of thing?
It really depends on the niche, actually. I had a test site like 3 or 4 years ago that I did in the paddleboard niche where I spent maybe $3,000 getting it all set up. I did most of the content myself. Then I flipped it for 35,000 18 months later.
Okay.
So, and it was making like 4 grand a month for a while
Awesome.
there, like only in the summer, of course, because it's a seasonal niche. But it's obviously getting harder, with Amazon commission cuts and freelance writers increasing their rates and stuff to have such a big profit margin. But I mean, I do well enough to move to Europe. So
Right. That's awesome. And the thing is, I've heard so many people want to do this model that you're
right.
describing, but they often run into issues, run out of steam before they've worked out the kinks. Did it take you a long time to develop the process and be able to execute reliably?
Oh yes, like I have a lot of failures. Luckily, I kept at it. I ended up finding a guy who's actually no longer even in the industry who was doing a step-by-step thing on how he made his own Amazon affiliate sites. And he just shared it out there publicly. And then he created a forum that was $5 a month that I joined. And so I started kind of doing what he taught, which was focusing more on buyer guides. And then not too long after that, Squidoo got real big for internet marketers. And so I was kind of doing that, and that kind of helped me refine my keyword research process. And then I just moved doing my own sites after that. And I guess the rest is history.
All right. And can you give us any idea, like the scope of how much you're earning per month so people have an idea just in general?
I don't publicly disclose all of my income. I have around 20 sites in my portfolio, but I did start this year doing a case study and income report update each month. And so there are 4 sites from my portfolio in that. And I think it was around 4 grand last month. I'm not really sure, but people can check it out for themselves on my site.
Okay, and we'll be able to get links for all that
Yeah.
stuff over at SkipBlast. But yeah, thanks for sharing that. I know I don't share much of my income these days either, so I respect that. But I always want to ask and make sure you have an opportunity to explain. So
Yeah, I mean, I will say it's 6 figures a year, but that's as specific as I'll get. So,
fair enough. Very cool. And it's expensive in Europe. We were talking just
uh,
off the record, just taxes in general, and I was
mhm.
like, wow, that's a lot of taxes that you pay over there. So you must be doing okay. So we're going to jump into a lot of different areas. And number one, I want to hear about sort of how you're building the sites and the process, starting from keyword research to your content. It sounds like you have some writers on staff, and then link building and how long you age it. So I know there's a lot baked into that question, and I'm just going to
Yeah.
throw it over to you.
Okay. Well, I actually just started a new site a couple of days ago. I didn't intend to because, like I said, I already have 20 sites in my portfolio, which is more than enough. I've been trying for ages to get it down to 10, but I keep starting new sites. So I would say for the past year or so, my method has been find a site in a niche that I'm not in that's doing well, see what they're doing, if there's any opportunities, and then try to beat them. So with this new site I started, I actually found it in the AdThrive JSON file, which you can is publicly available, and you can see every site that's got AdThrive ads. And so I got that, just like almost 3,000 sites. I ran them through a bulk checker to find the ones that didn't have any authority. And then I went through niche by niche to see what interested me. And I was like, oh, that's easy. They're ranking really well. They're in AdThrive. Their traffic looks great. And just with some links, I can beat these people. So that's kind of what I've been doing basically lately.
Right. Very interesting. In that AdThrive JSON file. So for
Yeah.
the non-tech people, can you break it down a little bit? And then I know people will be able to Google and do a little more research. It's actually a good video for me to create, but can you
Okay.
explain a little more?
Yeah, it's just like a kind of like a raw data file that you can access. And for AdThrive, it includes the company or person who owns the site, the publisher ID with them, and the website URL itself. If you just try to download it from their site, it's not going to really be formatted very well. But there's another website out there where you can download it in CSV format to make it super easy. And then you just upload it to Ahrefs with just the URLs, sort it by authority, and then run with it.